Okay, so evaluate and reflect on task 4. So in evaluate, this is always in your project organizer. Evaluate is always going to be about your culminating project. So today's culminating project connection. So what we're going to do today is think about your aquaponic system. And remember, we're looking at the aquaponic system and how it's usually in the cycling of matter. And we're going to think specifically this time because we're talking about rocks. How are rocks being used in your aquaponic system? All right, so remember the aquaponic system that's in the classroom. We have the grow tray with our plants, our basil, and then we have rocks instead of dirt. All right, and then our fish with our fish water, and the fish water comes up, waters our plants, drains through the rocks in back into our fish tank. All right, that's how our aquaponic system in the classroom works. How is your aquaponic system going to work? Is it going to use rocks? Hopefully, it would use rocks instead of dirt because you don't want really that dirt water to get into the fish tank, all right, because that's going to muddy up the water, so to speak. All right, so think about your sketch from the aquaponics system from task 1. I asked you to create an aquaponics system. Think about how your water is going to cycle through your plant bed, all right, and then your grow bed, and then how are you going to use your rocks to cycle that matter through, all right, and now think about too, what process that we talked about is what is going to happen to those rocks over time. Okay, so think about we're using water and we're using some small rocks. So what's going to happen to that rock bed if we have this aquaponic system forever and ever and ever? All right, are we going to have to change those rocks out because of what's the term that we're going to use? All right, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I want you to think about today. What will those effects? What will that affect? How will that affect your aquaponic system? So think ahead. We're troubleshooting. All right. So we're troubleshooting. We're code tracing. We're looking at what could happen and how are you going to fix it ahead of time? What are you going to think about? So having those rocks, what is that going to do for your aquaponics system? What's going to happen to those rocks over time? All right. And then how is that going to affect your aquaponics system? So in the project organizer, in task 4, you're going to just write a little paragraph or so and just think about those 3 questions and just really talk to me about those 3 questions and what's your plan. Okay, so that's what I want you to do for that one. And then your reflection, as always, is at the beginning of the task. I asked you to think about the formation changes, the rock formations, and how they changed over time. And then think about your hypothesis at the very beginning. What is it that changed? All right. Now, using evidence, remember, evidence, science doesn't care about your opinion. It's all about the evidence. Think about the changes that you recorded and how has your opinion changed? Has it changed from the beginning of the task to now? All right. Think about stability and change and how can it be explained by looking at the changes over time on a different scale. Where did you see examples of stability and change in what we did throughout the week? All right. So hopefully maybe in our uh, ex, our experiment with the starburst, something like that. Okay. Think about all that. All right. So again, reflection is never right or wrong as long as it's not empty. All right. Okay, hopefully you learned something new about the rock cycle and the processes that go into the rock cycle. It's just a little bit more important for this particular activity than anything else. Okay, all right, good job.